Boys, tomato sauce in here, and tonight I want to go over some massive class tuning changes coming on Tuesday. Let's go through this together, boys. Blizzard has announced that on February 7th, they are going to absolutely balance this game in a much better way. Some classes are getting buffed, some classes are getting nerfed. Let's dive in to the patch notes. So they, as usual, they give us the PvE patch notes first, but these also kind of segue into the PvP changes because any buff we can see here is generally going to happen in arena as well, right? We'll skip over blood DK. Why not? Let's take a look at it. More damage everywhere. This is actually kind of sick because I like tanking Mythic Plus keys. 15% Hard Strike, 15% Blood Plague, 15% Blood Boil, 20% Death and Decay, 5% Shattering Bone. Just pure damage buffs. I didn't think Blood was lagging too far behind. I kind of pump on my Blood DK, but, you know, I'll take it, right? Frost Death Knight, boys. From a PvP perspective, these changes, they're not going to magically fix Frost, but they're going to give it more damage. And they're, you know, they might smooth it out a little bit. Maybe you can go with a little bit of a different build, right? Maybe you don't have to go crazy chill streak. You probably still do. But here's what's big, right? Unleash Frenzy duration is increased to 10 seconds. It's actually kind of big because the 6-second duration was kind of lame on this, right? So you have that strength buff up a little bit longer than you usually would. Cleaving strikes are going to obliterate 2 additional targets now. It used to just be 1. So when you grip all the boys in, right, you hit them with the Syndragosa, you drop your Death and Decay, those obliterates are going to hit all 3 people in the arena. That's actually kind of a big change. Makes Frost Go even scarier than it was. But the problem with Frost's Go, right, is that it's so scary that everybody knows how to counter it, right? So they're going to give you 15% more Frost Fever damage to hopefully, you know, allow you to get a little bit more rot in between those goes. Glacial Advance, no one's really taken that. Frost Strike damage increased by 10%. Frost Whelp's Aid damage, again, this is when you use your Pillar of Frost. You're going to get that you know, Frost Whelp that shoots out the front. That's increased by 100%. And then Frost Scythe. These are mostly PvE changes that end up being nice buffs for Frost. Is this going to magically fix Frost Death Knight? No, I think it kind of needs almost like a total rework or some type of, you know, Frost Wounds needs some type of Mortal Strike ability to have a little bit of pressure in between goes. It plays like an Arms Warrior in that it only has a few main damaging abilities, so it needs some type of additional pressure. Maybe the Frost Fever buff will help that out, but I don't think it's going to be enough for Frost to be able to kill outside of their go windows. Guardian Druid buffs. If you play a Guardian Druid, check it out. You got some buffs for PvE. Apparently you guys were not the most, you know, the easiest to keep alive in keys. You guys were kind of paper, so this should fix all that. I don't know what all this is. I don't play Guardian Druid. If you do, though, check out the notes. Restoration, all healing reduced by 3%, but it doesn't apply to PvP combat. Preservation, all healing reduced by 5%, and this does apply to PvP combat. That's kind of a big nerf. That's a nerf across the board to Preservation Evokers that were already in a really bad spot against any class that had a Purge, and since Shadow Priests are everywhere right now, Preservation is not in a great spot, right? There's a lot of Purge classes, classes with spammable Purge, Ellie Shamans, Shadow Priests, you know, the 2 main culprits there, and Discipline Priests are everywhere as well. So yeah, Prez was already not in a great spot. Now it's even worse off, in my opinion. Hunter, big buffs, boom, 5, 5, and 5. That's PvP and PvE. That's looking good for marksmanship. Scary for BM because they already had crazy consistent damage. Survival damage is kind of through the roof as well. Marks, this is, I think Marks needed it, and maybe these 2 did not, but potentially in PvE, maybe they all needed it, right? So I think it's interesting for Marks. I started messing around with Marks. I want to level my Marks Hunter. to unlock the transmog for hunters, because I think it's pretty cool for this season. So probably try to hit 1800 on the Marks Hunter coming up. Some big Mistweaver buffs. All healing increased by 3%. Vivify healing increased by 5%. Cloud of Focus now increases healing and decreases mana cost by 20%. For Enveloping Mist and Vivify, they get a little 5% buff there. Peaceful Mending now increases the healing of Enveloping Mist and Renewing Mist by 25/50%. That's a big buff. Was 15/30. Spinning Crane Kick damage increased by 15. I guess for the probably for Mythic Dungeons is what they're really doing this for. Ancient Concordance increases the chance for RSK to reset by 5 to 10, so they have a higher chance to higher propensity to reset Rising Sun Kick with this change. Lesson of Doubt increases healing and damage by up to 40, and it was 35. So Mistweaver got buffs all around. Should be good for them for Arena. Prop Paladin's getting some buffs. Holy Priest getting a 3% buff there. So if you like Holy Priest, that'll translate a little bit into PvP. Shaman Healing Surge. Healing increased by 10. That's good for enhancement. Chain Heal increased by 10%. That's good for anybody that presses that button. Resto Healing Wave increased by 10. Healing Rain by 10. Overflowing Shores Healing increased by 10. That's probably good baseline buffs to Resto Shaman Healing. I know it's very difficult to just, sit back and channel Healing Waves or Healing Surge on a Resto Shaman. The Healing Surge buff will help out Enhance for sure. Since that's also going to get, multiplied by Maelstrom stacks. But maybe these, 10% flat buffs to these Resto heals help them out in Arena a little bit. All right, Warlock is just getting buffed all through, really across the board. So you got some pet buffs, you got some Destro buffs, Soulfire damage by 20, Incinerate damage by 5%, Demonology. This is like the filler damage is getting increased a little bit. So those are true PvE buffs you could see in the notes. Destro and Demo could use some single target situations. It'll translate to PvP. All right, now we're in the player versus player changes, boys. Items, Neltharax. Okay, so they nerfed the Hunter Bow from 5% to 1%. That's good. Why make it so these guys have to go and, try to get into Mythic Nathria raids if all they want to do is like shuffle, a shuffle or two a night, because Lord knows you're not getting in very often with these queue times. Demon Hunter Havoc. Oh, so this will nerf the hell out of their big Blade Dance Death Sweep hit that everybody's been feeling. So that's 40% nerf there. That's big. Good. I mean, really, this class is a little absurd. I could think of a few other damage nerfs with them, but yeah, that's a start. Guardian. Who cares? Evoker. Living Flame healing increased by 30% in PvP combat. Verdant Embrace healing by 20% in PvP combat. Oppressing Roar. Oh, this is that CC ability. It's increases by 30% now. I mean, you really don't want this to catch on, because if Rogue Mage Evoker starts becoming a thing, yeah, you guys are all going to be real upset that something like this is in the game. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Beast Mastery. Okay, they nerfed the 4-piece on Kill Command. This is a good nerf. They're getting 5% damage and their 4-piece is coming down a little bit. Probably evens itself out, to be honest with you. Marksmanship. Oh, wow. Rapid fire damage increased by 15%. Aim shot increased by 15%. Chimera shot increased by 30%. No one was really using Chimera. I was messing around with it in low solo shuffles. My Marks is like 1400 or something. He's got like no gear, and he's pretty new. But I'll take him up just to at least unlock the transmog. These buffs will help out with that 100%. With the removal of double tap, marksmanship hunter damage has been lower than we would like to see. So we are increasing several main rotation abilities while decreasing unerring vision. The goal of higher sustained damage. Yeah, they're going to have higher sustained damage with this 100%. This is a nerf to the last talent on the tree. You probably don't even take it anymore, to be honest with you. I wouldn't. I would put that point somewhere else. Or maybe you even take the one that gives you true shot more often. So you just have these true shot windows more, you know, more and more throughout arena, adding to that consistent damage profile. That might be something to try out. I kind of like taking Chimera Shot here now too, because it'll come in handy against melee cleaves. It actually hits kind of hard right now. So the fact that it's being increased by 30% in PvP combat, and you're getting some built-in cleave there that you're not getting with aim shot or with arcane shot, I think it's a lock-in, actually, to be honest. Instant filler after, yeah, that's the play. Marks is going to be good. I mean, Marks is already good, but I think it's going to be good enough to make me want to play it more. Mistweaver, Healing Sphere. Oh, it triggers the Dispel from UA. Okay, that's funny. Oh, and Vampiric Touch. Yeah, not going to want to jump into those spears, in those spheres anymore. But although the healing is increased by 320%, so, you know, might be worth. Shadow, Siphene healing reduction no longer stacks with similar effects. Thank you. Thank you. What took so long to do this? The meta's, you know, Assassination Rogue, Shadow Priest. Oh, what is going on here? Speaking of Assassination Rogue, Vault Delver's Toolkit, 4-piece set bonus, bleed damage bonus, reduced by 50% in PvP combat. Thank you. This set bonus was absurd. Anybody that had it, it was almost unhealable unless you were Dark Iron Dwarf or Dwarf. It helped me get a couple of YouTube views, but outside of that, this was ridiculous. The fact that it went on for 2 weeks is really kind of whack, to be honest with you. I hope seeing the Shadow Priest nerf with this stupid Siphene PvP talent, and wound poison healing reduction no longer stacks with similar effects. So there you go. The unhealable aspect of Assassin Rogue Shadow Priest is gone. So not only are they getting their damage bonus reduced on the 4-piece, but the fact that what makes that comp unhealable has been ripped out. It's still going to be a good comp. It's always been a good comp, right? RPS has always been good. It's just extremely unhealable right now. And I think this is a step in the right direction. And I wish the best to Sidu between the Sidu and Absturge, between the Resto Shaman buffs and the nerfs to this. Maybe they can get back on their old mains, because the Absturge is doing a little better than poor Sidu, but Sidu ain't having a good time right now. So hopefully he can jump back on a Shaman, and let's see what else Resto's getting. Damage dealt to Earth and Wall Totem caused by damage absorbed by pets is reduced by 90%. This is nice. This is good. So this is a buff, especially with hunters getting bigger. Who knows? You might see some demonology warlocks creeping in there with the little sustain buff they're getting. Oh wow, warlocks are getting more buffs. That's always scary. UA backlash damage increased by 35%. This is fair. Really, Affliction doesn't even seem like it has a way to kill anyone right now. So the fact that the backlash damage is increased by 35%, I think, is a good move. Destruction, Chaos Bolt damage increased by 40% in PvP combat. That's good. And it's also bad, because we've gone through half a season right now sleeping on Destruction Warlock Chaos Bolts. I haven't even cared to reflect every single one. Now you're going to want to reflect them. You're going to want to break them up, because 40%, that is a massive, massive increase. That's almost a 300% increase from where it was before at 15%. That's big. Resolved an issue, Bane of Havoc, to deal more damage than it intended. Okay, so they're getting a little weird Bane of Havoc nerf. My buddy plays Destro and he hates Bane of Havoc, so maybe it's not that good. Maybe this will make it so you don't even want to slot that in. Fell Fisher, healing reduction no longer stacks with similar effects. Okay, good. So they're getting rid of the stacking effects of some mortal strikes. Although Unholy DK didn't get any buffs, but they still have necrotic wounds, which we know stacks with mortal strikes. So Unholy DK, TSG looking good. Oh no, our boys. So we got Arms Warrior. Executioner's Precision is now 30% effective in PvP combat. We don't even care about that if you're playing the bleed build. We don't take that talent. Martial Prowess is now 33% effective in PvP combat. So that's the overpower buffing your mortal strikes. So your mortal strikes aren't going to hit as hard. Overpower damage increased by 20% in PvP combat. There's the balance right there. Especially the bleed build, you're overpowering like crazy as it is. Slam damage increased by 40% in PvP combat. Maybe you'll see some interesting slam filler builds come into play. Although I think it takes 3 talent points in the class tree would have to go into slam, and then 1 talent point in the spec tree for arms would have to go into slam. So you'd be committing 4 talent points into slam, which I think is hitting for almost 40k in like a Colossal Smash avatar window right now. So 40k, 40% harder, 10%, 4,000. So you're talking what, like 16,000 more damage. So if your slam's hitting for 40k, it'll be hitting for 56k as a filler. But you got to trade four talent points to make that work. I tested some of this stuff out in the beginning of the season, and since Slam has not had any other changes since then, I don't know if it's worth 4 talent points. I guess we'll see. But I think it's probably worth, with the little overpower buff, just committing to overpower, whether you're playing Spear or not. Spear, you're going to get hit a little harder because Executioner's Precision is now only 30% effective in PvP combat. But you're still going to press Execute, and you're still going to press Mortal Strike, and you're still going to press Overpower, and Overpower caught a buff. So to me, it's like, even in the Spear build, are you going to change up too much, right? Your damage will be a little bit more balanced now. It's not all going to be Mortal Strike. You're going to have more overpowered damage coming in there. But your MSs aren't going to be, you won't be able to farm out those like 150,000 at Mortal Strikes, right? Which is fine. I mean, that was a little bit absurd anyway. And if you played the bleed build, right? If you watch my videos, really, you're getting buffed from this because this is our big boy. Yeah, we take advantage of this, but we're getting 20% overpowered damage. I don't know about a slam build. I'll theory craft it out, but yeah. So that's the notes, boys. We got some changes coming our way on Tuesday. I hope you're ready for them. Big changes. High level overview. Hunters are getting buffed. Bleed build for Arms Warrior is neutral. Warlocks are getting buffed. Shaman are getting buffed. Enhance and Restoration. Enhance going to get a little bonus on this healing surge there. Mistweaver Monks getting buffs everywhere. Frost DK getting buffs. I might have to bring out the old Frost DK again. If you guys remember, I've launched the first DK demo lock video back in Shadowlands, and it was a pretty funny commentary. It's actually on the channel if you want to search it up. Maybe it's time to bring back the Frost DK demo lock, or perhaps Destruction Warlock, of Doom, right? Whatever. Anyway, guys, these are the changes. It's going to be a fun week once these go live. I look forward to getting on the weekend and playing around with some of these changes. Maybe mess around with my Hunter, my Frost DK, and as usual, the Arms Warrior. We'll try to even mess with a little slam build to see if anything's actually hidden there. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good week. And have a good year. Tomato sauce and out. WoW PvP might be back in.